I remember I've invested in a course and I didn't do the work, and actually, is that down to your own self-trust? You're watching the Stable Business Podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Bush, and I'm here to chat all things equine business with a new episode every week from me or the best in the biz. Now, before we get started, hit the subscribe button and don't forget to click the bell to be notified when a new episode drops. So we're deep diving through all the spooky things in your business, and today we're talking about fear of investing in yourself. Fear of investing in yourself. So this is a topic that might sound a bit strange, but you know what? I see it a lot. I see a lot of people worrying that actually, if they invest in themselves, if they take themselves to the next level when it comes to their personal business development, is it actually worth it? Is it going to pay off? Is it a good investment? Will I see results? And I want you to think at the moment why that is, because a lot of the time we have that fear of investing in ourselves because sometimes it feels intangible. Sometimes we can't always see the results because we're growing. And as we grow, we don't always notice it because we're not distant enough from it to see it. It's like if you plant a seed tomorrow and you watch it constantly, it grows so tiny, tiny, tiny that suddenly you'll just wake up and go, oh, there's a plant there, but I didn't notice it. And it's the same with you. Investing in you is a bit like that. It takes some patience. It takes some self-awareness to actually see the results that you're going to get, because sometimes it's not going to yield those immediate results. Sometimes it takes a year, it takes 2 years, but actually when you look back, you go, oh, it was that one thing that did it. And the same can happen when you're training your horses. You put in the groundwork and you don't really see it happening on the first day. But as you keep doing it and doing it and doing it, suddenly you see that the progress comes. Or I used to say, like, even when I was teaching riders and I teach the children to rise their trot, and it would be day after day, it's like it's not happening. And then all of a sudden, boom, it happens. And it's the same when it comes to the results that you get after an investment. So I want to ask you, are you afraid of actually investing in yourself? Why? Why are you holding yourself back? Why are you not allowing yourself to actually step up to that level? And there could be a load of reasons. But for example, like I've had some of the clients that work with me. It's a big investment, especially if you work with me one-to-one. Massive, massive investment. But one of the things that tells me that it's worth the investment is because my clients stay on. I've got a client who's been coaching with me now for 2-3 years. They stay on because they see the change that it makes, not just in them. Sometimes they see the results in terms of profits and then they might get more money in. Sometimes they don't, but sometimes they just know, I feel better. I'm able to step forward. I'm not dipping so much in my motivation. I'm able to stay focused. I know that I've got that accountability, and that could be the result that you get. And the case is asking yourself, is that worth it for you? Like, where could your business be if you were to invest in yourself? Like, where could it be if you did it? So you might be thinking, yeah, Jenny, I remember I've invested in a course and I didn't do the work, and actually, is that down to your own self-trust? What could you do to make sure that you show up? And that's one of the reasons why working with me one-to-one is so high. One of the other reasons is because I only have so much time and space, and it's not cost effective otherwise. But actually, sometimes you'll find the more money you put in, the more you're likely to show up. So ask yourself, actually, if I pay £500 for this coaching, will I show up this month? I'm pretty sure you will. And if you show up for yourself, will you be more likely to get the results? Yes, is my answer to you. So therefore, if you've got those doubts and you're thinking, if this is going to work, what if I'm throwing my money away? Actually, if you're going to say, I'm going to commit to this because it's a big enough deal for me, you can't possibly throw your money away. One of the other fears that comes up with investments is a lot of the time people think, well, if I put all that money in there, I'm going to lose that money. I'm not going to have that money. The thing with money is it's not like time. Time doesn't come back to you. Money does. Money goes round and round and it comes back to you. So even if you give that money now, you know that you're gonna there's opportunity everywhere to get money back in. Anywhere you go, money flows. That's the nature of money, unlike the nature of time. So between now and January, like what you won't get that time back. So if you invest now, will you be further in January than if you put it off? And again, we've got to think about that trajectory. Once you make that small improvement, and that small improvement, it gets you to that place much quicker. And these doubts are normal. Everybody has those moments where they worry about making wise investments. They worry if this is a good thing for them. They worry if it's the right thing. And all I can say is follow your gut. I mean, if something inside you is saying, this I'm being pulled to this. This is where I think it should work. There's normally a reason for that. There is normally a reason for that. And find somebody that you actually trust when it comes to doing those investments. So if you don't believe that person can get you to the results, or if you don't believe that person can at least start you on that path to get you towards that results, then it's probably not the right person. You've probably not it's probably not the right investment. But if you think that there is that possibility, and you're going to show up, and you're going to do the work, that's when the investment is worth doing. So I want you to think about that. So if you're planting a seed and you sow it and you nurture it, it's going to take time to grow into that seed. And investing in yourself is like that. Yeah, and getting the coaching is like that. Like you can't decide to work with me tomorrow, 1-to-1, and I'm going to cure all your ills, and you're suddenly going to have a £10,000 business, like £10,000 a month business, in the space of 3 months. But we can certainly get you on the path. We can certainly get you to the point where you think it's possible. We can certainly work on your mindset and your energy, and we can certainly work on the plan so that it can happen. And I'm not saying it can't happen. I mean, it's possible. It is totally possible if you put the work in and you've got everything in place and you've got the audience and everything's ready. It could happen. It could happen just like that. And I've often spoken about this before. Like sometimes we don't always believe that it can, but sometimes it can. But don't expect that from the investment. Like, don't expect your money back straight away. It can happen. I've had clients who've worked with me for 3 weeks and they've made their money back. It can happen, but it's not the norm, is what I'm saying. It's not the norm. So again, when you're thinking about investing, be real and say, okay, what will I need in order to plant? If I'm going to plant this, and I'm going to start this work, what would it take for me to make sure that I don't get frightened of this investment? What would it take to make sure that I can do that? Now, the other side to fear of investing in yourself is often down to feeling that you're not worth it, to feel that actually there's something else going on that's stopping you. So I want you to be curious around that. Like, is there anything else going on for you? Do you think you're not good enough? Do we need to shift that? Do you have self-doubt? Have you got, as I mentioned before, is it self-trust that you don't think you're actually going to show up and do the work? That you don't think it's possible for you to achieve that? And so one of the things that I would suggest, if you've got those worries, if you want to overcome those, is head to my website and you can book in a free call with me. And these calls, while I do call them sort of fitting calls and clarity calls, and there's a Gallup audit calls, we can go through stuff, but you can walk away knowing whether it's possible, and I'll tell you whether it's possible. There's no sales pitch to push you into working with me. That's not how I work. It just doesn't feel right to me, because one of the things I'm going to talk about in another episode is about buyer's remorse. And I don't want people to work with me and then think, oh, I've put all that money in now I don't want to do it. I want to make sure that people go into their head on, going, do you know what? I know that this is going to work and I'm going to do whatever I can. And I'm not, I know I've made the right decision. So I want you to ask yourself, what would it take when I'm making wise investments? How would I know it's the right decision for me? Like, be aware that you're still going to have those fears. You're still going to have those worries. But what does it need? What do you need to deal with in order so that they're not so bad? And as I say, if it's just a case of, well, if I give that money away, I'm not going to have that money anymore. Money goes round. Money comes back. Money is not finite. Money is not like time. So you won't get this period between November and January back, but your money's going to come back somewhere or another. Might not come the way you expect it, but money does. Money keeps flowing. You didn't have your pot of money when you were born, and then all of a sudden, you've got, once it's gone down, that's it. You don't get any more. No, it keeps flowing. So maybe it's just changing your mindset around those things and choosing what's right for you. And just like if you were going out with your horse, sometimes you just have to feel the fear and do it anyway, because you want to know what your goals is. You've got that, and you're going to be strategic and you're going to be calculated. So just to wrap this little mini spooky series episode up, investing in yourself and your business is like nurturing that young foal into the horse of your dreams. It's going to take time, it's going to take patience, it's going to take trust, but don't let those fears hold you back. If it feels right, take that leap, and you might be surprised at the results that you get. So let me know if you've got any questions on this. Head over to Instagram, find me at Equine Business Assistant. Ask me your questions there. I'm happy to answer. And if there's anything that you want to run past me, if you're thinking about, maybe I should find out more about the Stable Foundations Hub Pro, which is my one-to-one program that I'm running at the moment, or if you want to just get into any of my other programs, let's have a chat. And of course, stay tuned for more insights, and of course to continue the spooky series, and I will see you soon.